Welcome, everyone. And today we are going to go over the monitoring plan development. I want to welcome each of you. I do want to point out that this does not include changes to the ICH GCP E6 R2 that was finalized by ICH in November of 2016. And Barnett does recommend that you do a review of those changes to determine how that may impact your monitoring plans. So let's look at the learning objectives for today's course. So what we are going to do is we are going to look at developing a monitoring plan to meet the unique needs of both the project and the protocol, and also identify factors to consider when developing a monitoring plan for a risk-based monitoring approach, and then link the plan to both the CRA and site performance to meet project goals and to promote continuous improvement. So let's look here regarding monitoring plans and when they were initially introduced. So monitoring plans have been around for quite a long time. Started around 1988. This was recognized as a critical component to assure adequate and consistent monitoring. And so the FDA introduced this concept regarding the monitoring plan over 20 years ago, and it has since become one of the critical documents that are used to ensure adequate and consistent monitoring of a clinical trial. And today's sponsors and CROs are expanding the use of a monitoring plan into a tool that can identify and address both site and CRA performance challenges. And by incorporating your monitoring plans into your overall performance and quality management system within your organization, you will hopefully save time, ensure consistency, and then increase quality in the work that is being produced. Also, we know that we all work within a compliance and driven industry, and as such, it is critical that our monitoring plan functions as an integral part of our organization's quality system. So it's important for us really to look at how our monitoring plan can help us in that quality system that we are creating for our protocol or our project. So what about the cost of poor performance? So this is important to take a look at here, because what if we have poor monitoring or poor site performance in our clinical trial? Well, what is that cost? It could impact our ability to have the submitted for approval. Also, too, we could look at problems or issues that may impact, say, the site. So if the site is not meeting good clinical practice, subject protection, that also can result in a warning letter from the FDA. So we want to protect human subjects as well. And so that's part of ensuring by our monitoring patients that enroll into the clinical trial are protected. But also, too, can you imagine if, say, in your investigator-initiated studies that you are conducting, that now the poor performance would have a negative reflection within your institution or within your consortium if you're working collaboratively with other investigators. So that can have a negative impact as well. So what's important is, let's take a look to see if we can develop a system and plan to allow us to get a better understanding of anticipating not only the challenges but also planning for prevention of poor performance instead of always reacting to problems. So creating more of a proactive approach. And by doing so, this creates a more robust monitoring plan that will help our organization that we work with to perform at a much higher level. So when we look at monitoring plans can also support FDA Compliance Priorities, where SOPs may not. And so what we want to look at in specifics, we're looking at the quality relative to risk. And so FDA came out with a guideline regarding and risk-based monitoring. We'll look at this a little bit later on, but also, too, the FDA is going to pay attention to the big 5 areas where investigators go wrong. And those areas include falsification or fraud of the data, so that's the reporting of falsification of data, supervision of the study and delegation of responsibility, so that investigator not having that oversight of his clinical trial staff, and also, too, the delegation of responsibility, ensuring that the individual that's been delegated to do a task is listed not only on the delegation of authority log, but also has to be able to perform those tasks.